I keep doing every single time. I think I've got it in my head, and then I do the Pop Idols theme tune every single time. I've messed it up.
It's a little bit more of a rock sound. I love it. I love the intro song.
It's
I
all right,
do.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is. When I listen to our podcast, because I do listen to our. Is that weird that I listen to our podcast?
No, I don't think it's weird.
Thank you. Because I was feeling really weird about it, but like I always rock out to it, and then it's weird listening to myself. I'm like, why did I say that? God, I sound weird. Or like, did I really just sing that? Like, what's wrong with me? And it's a whole thing when I listen to
Here's something sad. I laugh at us when I edit it. I'm like,
it.
oh, we were funny. I laugh at our own jokes. I've already heard them,
And you still laugh.
and I still laugh.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Hey, look, wherever you can get your entertainment in life.
Yeah, keep it.
Yeah, 100%. How are you?
Well, we're 3 hours ahead of the last time we recorded. It's 6:18 here instead of 3 something in the morning. So I'm maybe doing better.
Well, the sun's up.
Maybe.
So, I mean, that's a start.
Yeah, it is. It wasn't when I messaged you, do you want to record? But now it is.
By the time we've set ourselves up and had our obligatory putting the worlds to right chat, now the sun's come up.
It has. It's up. And I got my Mountain Dew, so we're good to go.
Do you know what? I think I would question what was going on if you didn't have a bottle of Mountain Dew about your person when we
Yeah,
recorded.
you would be right to do so.
I think
I
the only
always have
time
my
I've
Mountain
seen
Dew.
you not drink Mountain Dew is when you were absolutely sick as a dog and you had COVID and you were drinking tea.
Yeah, my mom made me peppermint tea, and it helped so much.
And then you asked Josh to make you tea, and it became a very complicated affair.
So complicated. You know what? I'll get up from my deathbed and make my own frickin' tea.
You were like, you can make coffee. Same principle,
Mhm.
you can make tea. Exchange the
Yep.
coffee for the tea, and we're in business. But I think you actually did end up getting up and making your own tea.
Yeah, because he didn't change out the little filler thing, and so the tea he made me had coffee grounds in it because he used the same thing, and it was disgusting. And so I was like, you know what, just forget this. I'm not drinking coffee grounded tea.
Oh dear. Look, bit of texture.
Ew. He's a good dad though, so he has redeeming qualities.
I mean, it's a good job. I don't think that would be classed as a redeeming quality over here in this nation of tea drinkers. I think that,
It probably wouldn't be.
no, I don't think that'd be enough. You're an excellent father, but you're a terrible maker of tea on your bike, son.
It's like when Maya made Karina the espresso and she drank it went
And pulled the
and
face.
and poor Maya was like it was the biggest sigh in the universe, and I felt so bad for Maya because she like tried so hard, and then she was like, "Well," and then Gabriella comes and makes. I cannot stand Gabriella. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
No, that's absolutely
Let's
fine.
continue.
I think that she could be a bit nicer to Maya, couldn't she?
Just a wee bit.
Make a bit of an effort with your
Yeah,
best friend's missus.
like she annoyed me when she was like, "Flower, I can speak English." Like, you know what? But you can't make Karina happy in bed, so deuces.
But well, they were
They were
at it for
sex
a while,
buddies.
weren't they?
They were like bunnies.
I think she redeemed herself when she was having the conversation with Karina in the car, though. And I'm
She
going to
did.
paraphrase heavily when she said, "Get over yourself and go and marry the bird."
Yeah, she was like, I've never seen you happier, even in your she was like, even when you were grieving the most in your heart, you were happy.
Yeah.
And so yes, Gabriella did redeem herself, but man, in that scene, the actress did a good job because I was so annoyed with her in that scene. I was like, forget you. And then Maya was like, yeah, I know that word. I remember that one.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Mhm.
Poor Maya.
I know. Anyway, what episode were we here to talk about?
We we well, I'd rather talk about all the episodes that have Karina in them, if I'm honest. But we'll get there. It'll be worth the wait when we get there. But we're still deep into season 1, so we're on. You and I are on 108. That's the one that we're
Yes,
going
we
to talk
are.
about today. But we've had some listeners get in touch again.
Yay! I love that.
Yay!
Thank you.
Me too. So Minna got hold of us on Instagram. Do you remember last week I gave you like a bare bones potted history of Jo?
Yes, I do.
And there were some bits that I was sketchy on. And I said, I think she's been in foster care. I know that there was a point that she lived in her car. Like, yeah. And Minna's cleared up a bunch of stuff and filled it out a bit for us. So apparently it turns out that Jo was conceived during a rape.
Oh.
Yeah. And so was handed in at a fire station when she was 5 days old. And so then was raised in foster care. So I got that bit right. And Minna tells us that the idea of Jack and Jo as a couple came about from the winter finale of season 16 of Grey's Anatomy, because Jo goes to the station as a safe haven volunteer. I guess because she was a safe haven baby. And then she meets Jack and they start discussing their experiences in the system together. So that's where the whole Jack and Jo as a couple thing comes from.
Gosh, do I need to start watching Grey's just when it's on so I can see these little tidbits? Because I feel like I never would have known that.
Somewhere there must be a list of crossover episodes.
I guarantee you somebody probably has done that.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe the crossover episodes, the ones where like Jack or whoever nips over to Grey's. But yeah, that was apparently the winter finale of season 16 that the Jo and Jack thing started up. That gave people the idea of Jack and Jo. So thank you, Minna, for clearing that up. Minna clears all sorts of stuff up for us. I'm 90% sure it was Minna who wrote in and told us about all the episode with the shower scene. There were all those references that we didn't get from.
No, I'm sorry. What scene? No, I don't remember. What one was that?
I have a very vague memory of it. Super vague memory.
Like they were in the shower together?
Yeah, you'd think it'd stick out in our minds more, wouldn't it? But we missed a bunch of pop culture references in that, didn't we? The tributes and the stuff. We are so old. If it's not Friends or Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I'm out of here. Got no idea.
Yeah. For me, if it's not Charmed, which was like my middle school, high school years, if it's not Charmed, if it's not Piper, Phoebe, or Prue, then I don't know. I got nothing.
We need to expand our horizons. Actually, we don't. We're fine as we are.
No, we're good.
Leave us be.
I'm happy with it.
Yeah. But that was Minna, so thank you, Minna. And then we got a wicked cool email from a fellow Deutschie.
Go Deutschies.
So Hannah from Germany got in touch, and she started out very sweetly by telling us that she's got a chronic illness. And she says that she said she spent a good amount of time in the hospital, and listening to podcasts was a way of helping her to calm down or relax when she was getting nervous. And so she said that she's really grateful for our podcast because it always brings a smile to her face.
Way to make me like literally tear up over here.
I know, bless you.
That is beautiful.
I know. I was really touched.
Thank you for writing in, Hannah.
And she says that she's doing better, but she still struggles because she's only 19. And she sees all of her peers kind of going to festivals and partying and doing all the stuff, and she can't. So, but yeah, she says, however, your podcast always brings a smile to my face. So that was just the loveliest thing, and just makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it, when we hear things like that?
Insert Karina pout.
Your lip didn't go out quite as far. It was getting there.
Yeah. I don't know how she does that. No, Hannah, I'm going to try to do some German here, but...
Yes, do, because she's impressed with your German. So impress her further. Go on, crack on.
Yeah, this is not going to be impressive at all. It's 6:30 in the morning and I haven't slept. Hannah, vielen Dank, dass du hast uns geschrieben. Das macht mich ganz glücklich. Tut mir leid, dass du bist so krank. Das macht mir ganz traurig. Ich hoffe, dass du gut sein und dass du gut gesundlich sein. Ähm, Das macht mir ganz glücklich, dass wir können dich lachen und glücklich sein und ich wünsche dich alles schön. Vielen Dank. Tschüss.
Ah,
I tried.
don't grimace. That was good.
Yeah, I could have said anything.
Oh, I understand a bit, don't I?
Okay, yeah, you do. Yeah,
Yeah.
you better having a Deutsche in the house for
I
14
know,
years.
for 14 years. She keeps moaning at me that I don't speak enough.
You're like Maya.
I am like my.
Embrace your wife's culture.
I know. I embrace the food and the beer part.
Oh, yeah. But no, really though, I don't like track how many listeners we have and I don't track like our statistics and all that stuff. It's the messages that we get that I care about.
Same.
And even if we were recording just to help Hannah in the hospital, that would be enough
It'd
for
be
me.
worth it. It'd be 100% worth it.
Totally. Yeah, and so that was so beautiful. Thank you so much, Hannah.
Yeah.
Um, and I just hope that the doctors figure out what's going on. That's kind of what I was saying, and that you're better soon.
Yeah, that's sweet of you. But
Yeah.
but yeah, Hannah said that she was really impressed when she heard you speak German. And she also wanted to know if you've ever watched Station 19 in German.
I have not. The only reason why I have not is when you watch Station 19 in other languages, Karina does not have an Italian accent,
She
and I
does
just don't
not.
think that that's right. I think that that's wrong on so many levels. Except if you watch it in Italian, maybe.
Well, she asked me, she asked if you had ever watched it in German, then she asked me if I'd ever watched it in any other language. And I've watched Station 19 in Italian.
Have you?
I have, yeah.
Is it weird?
It's awful.
Is I had watched Charmed in German because I was in Germany once when Charmed was on, and it's so hearing the voices not being the characters' voices,
Yeah.
it takes a little bit away. It's really weird.
Well, I've got an Italian acquaintance,
Mm.
and she writes to me in Italian, and I write to her in English because I want to improve my Italian. She wants to improve her English. And she was the one that told me that Station 19 is available in Italian. And she said, watch it at your peril because I'm telling you, it's absolutely awful to the extent that every Italian person that I know watches it in English with Italian subtitles because the dubbing is so horrible. And so I thought, it can't be that bad. And I put it on and I was like, oh, there was no exaggeration there.
It was that bad.
It's pretty bad. But I
Yeah.
persevere because I do want to improve. But there you go.
Yeah.
So you have not watched it in German, and I have watched it in Italian, but I'm going to stick to English as my
Yeah, I can stick to English.
as my kind of premiere watch.
I do watch if she cares. I do watch German movies with my mom though. And if you Hannah, if you have not seen Die Frisuse, it is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I think you can maybe get it on Amazon Prime, but it's so funny. You have to watch it. It'll make you laugh. So maybe on a rough day, you can give it a go and watch it.
We watch every New Year's Eve. We watch, and it's a massive thing in Germany, and I'd never heard of it. And German people can't believe that I've never heard of it because it's all in English, but it's a German thing, and what's it called? I've forgotten what it's called now. I've built it up, but it's like oh no, I'm gonna have to Google it.
She's Googling stuff again.
I'm Googling stuff again. It's this really old black and white movie, and right, I've got it.
Okay.
It's called Dinner for One.
I'll have to ask my mom about it because I've never heard of it.
Your mum will 100% know it. And it's this really, it's like a short film, but it's really funny. And it's this elderly high society woman who's had like 5 dead husbands or something. And her butler has to play all of her dead husbands. And so he has to say cheers and have a drink as each of her dead husbands with her. So by the end of the movie, he's absolutely K-lied.
Okay, it's called Dinner for One.
Dinner for One.
Okay. It sounds hilarious. I'll have to ask my mom.
It's really, really funny. And he ends up tripping over the rug. And it's very, very funny. The whole thing's in English, but English people have never heard of it because it's a German thing.
And they watch it for New Year's or
Yeah, they watch it on New Year's
okay.
Eve. It's like a New Year's
Okay.
thing. Yeah, but your mum will 100% know it. Dinner for
Okay.
One.
I'm gonna ask her. Maybe we'll watch it this year for New Year's. I'll
Yeah.
like find it. I can find it on TV or
Oh
something.
yeah, it'll be on YouTube. So after all that, I'll try and get back on track to Hannah's email. So you'll enjoy this because Hannah is a Harry Potter fan. Tiffany's eating M&Ms and air punching. She's very happy about that.
I am.
Hannah is also a Hufflepuff.
Team Hufflepuff.
Yeah. And Hannah says, in her opinion, I would be a Ravenclaw. So I don't obviously know anything about Harry Potter at all. So I don't know what a Ravenclaw is. So like what are their traits?
They're very cunning.
Oh.
Very, very intelligent, but very witty.
Okay.
The Ravenclaws are usually known to be the studious ones, the very intelligent ones. Hannah, I want you to write in and say, is Melissa a typical Ravenclaw, or is she a Luna Lovegood Ravenclaw? Because my son Obelix is a Luna Lovegood Ravenclaw. Luna Lovegood is, she's very what other students would categorize as weird, which is funny because we were just talking about this.
Yeah.
But she is very, like, she would tell you just be true to yourself. That's where your strength is. She's very, like, she dresses really kind of goofy, what people call as goofy. She wears these like pink glasses with like waves coming off of them. But she's just very like, she's like, your strength is in being who you are. And, so I always say that Obelix is the goofy Ravenclaw versus Josh is the very studious, intelligent Ravenclaw.
So which do you think I would be? And do you think I would be a Ravenclaw?
I could see you being a Luna Lovegood because you have all the Ravenclaw qualities, but you're goofy too.
I am goofy. Oh. All right, I'll take that. As I say, I have absolutely no idea. So I will just go along with whatever I'm told. But I thought you'd enjoy that question.
I did. Sorry. He's upset because Josh is pulling you away from him.
Sorry, I broke your child.
Josh locked the door behind him because he can open handles now, so he would have came right back in.
Oh, bless him. I'm sorry I broke your baby.
You did. Thanks. And you're not even straight, and you broke his heart already.
Bless his heart. Bless his heart. Oh dear.
That's so sad.
Taking names, breaking hearts.
You are.
Hannah also says that she loves Ryan, like I love Ryan.
You're made for her.
Yeah. And, you said when you listen to yourself, you're like, why did I say that? Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm not convinced that Ryan wasn't written as a woman. And I was like, you dip. Of course he wasn't written as a woman, but I knew what I meant. It would have worked if Ryan had been female. But Hannah semi-agrees with me because she says that she probably likes him because he has more feminine traits.
Mm-hmm.
But Hannah has also made a good point because she said that she likes that Shondaland shows more range in their male characters. They're not all just these hyper-masculine men.
Yeah.
Shondaland portrays men who show their emotions and are more sensitive, have sensitivity, but are considered just as much a man as anyone else. And Hannah uses the example of Dean saying, like, he's massive, he's huge, he's this big muscle-bound, guy, but he's an absolute teddy bear.
Oh, yeah. So he's not like, yeah.
Yeah. And then following on from Dean, she said, apart from Dean and Warren, who do you think would make the best parents at the station? I love it when our listeners come up with questions like this because you're like properly thinking about it.
I am.
And it had never occurred to me to think about it.
I don't want to just say like who, like who my favorite characters are, and that's why I think they should be parents. Like I'm a parent, so I'm thinking about like who would be a good parent because it's a lot of work to be a parent.
Yeah.
Um, I would say so. I'm gonna pick somebody other than Karina and Maya because I do think Karina and Maya would be good parents, but I think that's an obvious answer. I'm gonna pick somebody different.
Yeah.
I think that Jack would make a good dad
Jack would make a good dad.
because we often try to give our children what we lacked as kids,
Yeah.
and um, it's always better when it's like not necessarily materialistic things that we lacked. And so he lacked a lot of emotional things and connection and things like that. And so I think Jack would be a good dad.
Yeah, I didn't even think about Jack. That's bad. I didn't even
That's
think
okay.
about Jack,
Who
bless
would you
him.
pick?
I think Travis would make an excellent dad.
He was on my list too. I
Yeah.
think he would be a good dad too. But I had to pick one. So
But I think that you're going to be really surprised because I answered Hannah's question in an email. I replied to her and I answered her in the email. And I think you're going to be really surprised by my answer
oh God, I'm nervous.
because I said to Hannah that I think Maya will be an exceptional parent. And like bearing in mind how much I hate the whole Maya and Karina as parents
You hate that
thing,
line, that storyline. You do.
bloody hate it. I wish they hadn't done it. But I
Well, we
have to
never know. They might
say,
make it that Karina can't get pregnant and they decide to not have kids. You never
maybe,
know.
maybe, you never know. But I do think that Maya would make an exceptional parent. I think it would add a new dynamic to their marriage. I think it would make Maya a better wife to Karina, actually. I think she'd be super supportive.
Would you have felt this way before all the therapy that she went through? So, like, would post six Maya been a good mom, or is it pre six Maya that's a good mom?
I think even pre six Maya would have been a good mother, to be honest.
You don't think she would have been like, no, you have to win. Like you're 18 months and you go, 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 go. Like, why aren't you winning?
No, I don't think she would. I think
Okay.
that I really don't, because I think that maybe well, it's exactly what you just said, that you often try to give your children the things that you lack, and she's never been like that with Karina. She's never kind of pushed Karina like, oh, why aren't you doing more in your career? Why aren't you
She
advancing?
pushed.
Why aren't you?
We see her do that to Andy though.
Yeah, but that's different. And I think that it's more trying to be supportive of Andy because Andy wanted to go for it. So she's just supporting Andy in that endeavor,
Okay. Okay.
is the way that I read it.
I'm not convinced that I don't think she would have been like, why isn't our 18-month-old in track and why aren't they winning, Maya? I'm not convinced that we wouldn't have seen that.
I don't know. I think it would have maybe have been the making of her.
Maybe. But
And
now Maya, I think she will be a good mom.
oh yeah, she's just gonna smash everything in life now, I think.
She is. Yeah.
But I thought you'd be surprised by my
I am surprised by your answer.
surprised myself.
Because you were like, it's a two-woman couple. They have to add it. They have to add a baby. It was a whole tangent. It was like
It
I
was
was
the
like,
whole thing.
I need popcorn and M&Ms for this one
I know.
because she's going all in.
I was very upset by it. It's very
Like
upset.
why can't they just get a dog?
I know. Why can't they just get a dog or two and two cats? That sounds realistic.
That's not like anybody we know.
No, exactly.
Oh
Dear.
God, that's funny. Have we even talked about the episode yet?
No, because we're still talking about Hannah's amazing email.
Okay, I was lost. All right, hi
That's
Hannah.
right. No, but I'm nearly there. I'm nearly there. Hannah said that she's excited to hear our Lost Storyline episode because she really liked the storyline of Maya losing her hearing, which we're just coming up to. So next week when we do Hotbox, that's when Maya loses her hearing. To my recollection, I think. Am I right?
Yes, and then they show it a little bit in the episode I just watched. It kind of comes back in one scene for
Yeah,
like a second. I just
exactly.
watched,
So
yeah,
I
in
remember
the
it kind
finale,
of
yeah.
Yeah, I remember them making a big deal of it initially, and then it's sort of going in and out. Like sometimes she hears
Yeah.
absolutely perfectly, and then other times when it matters, she can't hear people. So,
Yeah.
but Hannah said that she is looking forward to us bringing up the fact that this is a lost storyline and going into it a bit because she herself is hard of hearing, and she would really have liked to have
Oh,
seen how that turned out. Because she Googled if you can be a firefighter with hearing aids, and you can. So she thinks that that would have been a really good thing to explore.
so I wonder if Hannah, like, is does she have to like do sign, and if so, what she thinks of Jack's sign language?
Oh, it would be different, wouldn't it? Because there's
Yeah,
ASL,
that's
like
why.
even British Sign Language is
Yeah,
different, isn't it,
yeah,
to
yeah. So I wonder
America?
if she can understand any of it, or if it's like,
Yeah,
no, it's so different. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, but Hannah just posed some really good questions, I thought, and brought up some really good stuff. So I wanted to cover as much of Hannah's email as we could, and
Yeah,
I
for
really
sure.
love it when people pose these questions about the episodes and stuff.
Yeah, I do too. Thank you.
Yeah, so Hannah signed off by saying, "Thank you again for your podcast. It makes me appreciate episodes even more and makes the hiatus a little bit more bearable. Love you."
Aw,
So,
that unbearable hiatus. It's
I know.
unbearable.
But yeah, so love you too, Hannah. And thank you so much for writing
Yes,
in.
thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
But that all said, do you want to talk about the episode now?
Yeah, it was a good one.
108, every second counts. It was a good one, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
There was some gory makeup in it that I didn't enjoy. Some of the stuff, the incident was really gory.
Yeah.
I didn't like the knee and I didn't like the finger.
Oh,
I'm a bit
yeah, the finger was
squeamish.
weird. Finger was weird.
Yeah, it's gross. But Maya called Ripley a conversational Jedi, and
Yeah.
I think that was my favourite bit was the peer reviews. It felt in parts like we were watching a legal show, like he was doing my
Yeah.
job,
Yeah. I
like
know, I
tripping
know.
people up, cross-examining them. It was just really well done, I thought.
Maya was like, he had me saying that Jack was good.
I know.
And
That
Andy was
doesn't
like,
even
wait, what?
sound like me.
No.
I've put that as my favourite line, actually. When we
Did
get
you?
get there, yeah. But yeah, it was a really, really, really good episode. Really different, I thought, from what
Yeah.
stuff that we're used to.
No, but the way they did it, it just really worked, and it was really good. And
Yeah.
they redeemed themselves from the horror of season or episode 6, I'll say.
Yeah, that was a stinker. But yeah, this one was, they really did redeem themselves. You're absolutely right. So this one initially aired on the 3rd of May. Oh, that's nearly a Jedi thing, isn't it? Because isn't there like a May the 4th?
May the
It's
fourth be
like a,
be with you, and the revenge of the fifth.
okay, there you go. So, but
Get
this
it?
was,
Revenge of the that was
yeah.
punny.
but this was May the 3rd, not May the 4th. So we were
Okay.
close. 2018. And it was written by Tia Napolitano, and she wrote 3 upcoming season 2 episodes. They kept her on. Good decision because this one was a banger. And it was directed by Marisol Adler, and this was her only episode, so I haven't got anything interesting to say about
Oh,
her. And the cold open on this one was Mum's on a party bus. The driver is looking a bit worse for wear, falling asleep at the wheel. He's reaching for an energy drink, and then he's going through a wrong way sign.
yep.
So spells trouble. There were a couple of bits that sort of didn't fit in with anything else because I think that basically it went from peer reviews to the incident and back, didn't it? Just sort of flip flopped
Yeah, back and forth. Yep.
for most of the episode.
Yeah.
So the only bits that didn't sort of fit in with that was I think it started out with Ryan and Andy, didn't it? Having a roll in the hay.
A roll in the hay. I can't. You sometimes. I don't know what to do with you sometimes.
With me.
Yeah.
Well, I think last time I said that they were playing Scrabble, so it's at least I was a little bit more upfront with, look, I'm very middle class and repressed. And so we can't say things how they are. We have to use euphemisms.
Do you know how many likes my cherries comment got? We got some serious messages about my cherries comment. I mean, we got serious messages about them
I
cherries. I ruined cherries for a lot of people.
know. Destroyed cherries for every
Destroyed
single
it.
one of our listeners. How dare you? So, how would you like me to? So, you don't want me to say roll in the hay. What would you like me to say?
No, I love it. Don't change the
Okay.
thing.
All right. Okay. Well, they're back at it regularly, is what we find out, because they have a pre and a post breakfast sexy time routine, it turns out.
Yeah.
I said sexy. I said sexy
You
time.
was that hard for you?
It's very hard
Like,
for
do
me.
you
I'm
feel like
blushing
you are? Are you sweating?
a little bit.
Oh
Oh
God.
God, God damn my middle class repressed parents. Andy tells Maya that she's enjoying the no strings fun, and Maya, hilariously, in a very kind of stream of consciousness rant, basically tells Andy that it's creepy that as adults they're hooking up in her childhood bedroom where they used to hook up as children, and then tells Andy that she's holding on to Ryan like a safe, easy, fuzzy blanket because everything else in her life is barreling out of control.
Uh-huh. It was good. It was perfect.
It was very funny. And Andy was like, no, it's not. And Maya was like, I said not.
Yeah. And Maya says so much sometimes without actually saying it.
Yeah, she's so funny. The other bit that didn't really fit in anywhere else is that JJ has been keeping Dean up playing Scrabble. And she tries to get him to play hooky from work so they can continue to play Scrabble. But he's a good boy and he goes to work. And she brings him his watch, and Jack basically throws her out of the locker room, saying it's their private space. And then he lumps JJ in with all of the other fireflies, as they like to call them, saying to Dean that he can't have the fireflies hovering around the bunks, which gets him a very terse and well deserved, in my book, telling off from Dean, who says, "Thank you for telling me how to behave appropriately in the bunks."
Yeah, I didn't remember JJ and Dean actually being together as long as they have been. I know it's only been a couple episodes, but
Yeah.
in my mind, it was more of like a one night stand thing that she got pregnant, as I remembered it. So I am like relearning that they actually were together for a little bit,
Yeah.
and I do think that Jack was a little bit too harsh on Dean for that. I sided with Dean on that one.
Yeah. It's just so hypocritical as much as anything
Yeah,
else. It's like, oh, so you're fine to go and have it away with Andy behind everyone's back all over the show, but Dean can't literally just show a girl around.
right.
They weren't about
Which
to.
which he showed Maya shows Karina around everywhere.
Yeah.
She showed Karen Dalinka
She
around the
did.
whole thing.
She did show Karen Dalinka around. And they also put on a show for that lasagna in the captain's
they
office.
and there were naughties going on in the captain's office too
Yep.
with Karina and Maya. It just happens everywhere.
Yep. So do one, Jack.
I wonder how Stephanie, Danielle's sister, feels about the show because she's actually a firefighter. I wonder if she's like,
Yeah,
no, just no, or if
probably.
she's like, dang, yep, that's exactly what's going on in those captains' offices.
Yeah. Danielle's pitching stuff to the writers directly from conversations
Yeah,
she's had
yeah.
with her sis. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm glad that you agree with me that Jack was out of order. Who else have we got? We've got Travis, who still hasn't gone on a date with Grant, much to Vic's disappointment, because she's been so excited about this impending date that she journaled about it.
I'm starting to really appreciate and love Vic, so that's exciting.
Yes, it is nice because they are really softening her now. I
They
had
are.
trouble seeing Vic as Vic, and I couldn't dislike her because it felt I could kind of be in my head that she was putting on a front and that wasn't her actual personality and that she was putting on a front for, because it was mainly Warren that she was giving a hard time to. So I could
Right.
kind of see it as like she was fronting,
Right.
because we know what she's like. But that was me kind of like imposing things on her to just for my comfort, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really funny. She's journaled about.
That's so funny. I'm sorry.
It is funny.
Like picturing her at home, like on her bed, like journaling about Travis and Grant,
Yeah.
like
laying on her front with her legs kicked up in the air.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
God, that's so funny.
It does put a really funny image in. I love it when they put stuff like that in. It just makes all the difference. It really does. It just lifts an episode. This is what we were missing, amongst other things, in 6.
You guys, I wish you could see us, because I'm going to start counting the times Melissa throws her hair back behind her headphones.
Flicks my
It's
hair.
probably about every 0.8 seconds.
Is it that bad? Do you always go and put it up in a pony?
And then I watch for how long it's going to take for it to slide back down.
Back down.
Yeah, and then how long are you going to leave it there until you throw? It's a thing for me. Sorry,
I'm gonna be really conscious about not moving my hair.
It's hilarious to me, because I like watch it slide down. I'm like, oh, there, it's going, it went, it's down.
My hair, I have less than no control over my hair. My hair does whatever the hell it wants, whenever the hell it wants. I just have zero control over this Bonnet of mine.
Mine's always in a ponytail ever since I had kids, because lifting a baby, if your hair is down, they're going to pull on it. They're going to, so ever since I had kids, it's like
yogurt
ponytail. In it. Yeah, or throw up or spit up, or yeah. Nice. And it happens too. Yeah, it's brilliant. Then you smell like it all day long.
Oh God, the ponytail seems like the way forward.
Okay, I know you want to do it. Just do it. Just push it back. Push it back.
I do want to do it. There you go.
I know you.
Oh my goodness! Did you see it? Fell immediately
right back.
My hair's like, screw you, hippie.
You guys, it didn't even stay. It didn't even stay. Just do it. We'll do it the right time this time, and I'll wait.
Okay.
Just. Yep. There you go. Okay.
There we go. Okay. All right. Here we go. It's literally going to go any second now.
I know. See, it already moved.
It desperately wants to go. Look at it.
Oh, yep.
Anywho. It genuinely just does whatever it wants. I have no control over this thing. Pruitt, I think, is our last stop before we hit the incident. So he is in hospital getting chemo instead of being at 19 for the peer reviews. And he says, really movingly actually, that it's as if suddenly having cancer has negated the validity of his experience and his opinions.
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah, I've really felt that.
Yeah.
And then that was that. And then we got to the kind of the flip-flopping between the incident and the peer reviews. And because the timeline was all over the show, I thought if we just talk about the incident first and then we go through the peer reviews, what do you reckon?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. Overall, I kind of loved this incident. And when I was watching it, I thought, oh, Tiffany's going to really like this, because Andy was a really good captain. And I know you love it when Andy kicks ass as captain.
I do love that. And I loved some of the things in the peer review when we get to it even more, because it wasn't just me that thought she was a good captain. I'm just going to say that.
But she was taking advice from the whole team. She looked at the call holistically. They all worked perfectly and seamlessly together.
Yep.
And I think actually behind the scenes was just as slick. It was like the team on screen were like super slick, but the writing and the direction and the production of the incident was equally as slick, I thought. So I think it's one of the better ones that I've seen throughout the whole 6 seasons for me.
Do you think the guy that got in the car accident lied about his back and neck pain because he wanted morphine?
Yeah, he was a seeker, wasn't he?
Do you think he got in the accident on purpose? He hit the pole 100%. On purpose?
Yeah. So that's the first bit that we see. So 19 attend this minor fender bender and pick up a relatively innocuous seeming chap who's got minor whiplash. And then on the way to taking him to the hospital, just as procedure, basically, they come across the party bus mums who have now disembarked the said party bus, but very unceremoniously, and are strewn across the road with the bus on its side. Help is too far away because 23 are still 8 minutes out. So Andy, who's captain that day, against Jack's better judgment, stops and helps, which is a break in protocol because the book says that they should have carried on and taken Mr. Whiplash to the hospital. So then Andy tasks Jack with staying with Whiplash Pete in the aid car while the rest of the team work on the crash victims. And then the team is just kind of running back and forth to the aid car for supplies while they await on 23 arriving. As I said at the beginning, some of the injuries are really gnarly. So there's this lady called Susan, and she's been impaled by a road sign that Warren has to cut her free from. And then there's Carla, and the lower part of her body's literally stuck under the bus. And then there's a lady called Mary who's got is that a compound fracture where the bone's exposed? Yeah, good stuff. And apparently Susan gets queasy at the sight of blood. I am Susan in this scenario. I did not like it. I really that leg I really struggled with, and
So you wouldn't have been able to see some of the stuff I've seen in my nursing career then?
Oh, hell no. In my job, I've seen some pretty horrific injuries as well. And I've seen things that have killed people and have been life-altering, life-limiting injuries, life-changing injuries. And I'm not good at looking at them on photographs, but much less like looking at moving images of things.
Oh my God, you're like Eli.
Oh my God, I am like Eli. Oh no. Mind you, I wouldn't pass out at the sight of my own nose blood, and I have pierced I've pierced parts of my own body. We won't talk about that. Middle class and repressed, that's all I'm going to say. At some point you fight back. But the bus is in danger of exploding, so they have to move the victims back a bit, and then Maya attacks the hood of the bus with an axe. Are you proud of me? I said hood instead of bonnet. We call it a bonnet.
Oh my God, that's so funny that you call it a bonnet. A bonnet to us is something you put over your hair.
Samesies. Yeah.
But you just call the hood a bonnet?
Yeah.
So funny.
Well, a hood is something that you put on your head, and a bonnet's something that you put on your head.
It's like, I can't imagine being at the oil change place. Can you open your bonnet, please?
He's like, do you want to flip the bonnet?
Yeah,
that's what we say. Do you want to lift the bonnet up?
That sounds a little personal.
Let me just get in under the bonnet.
Yeah. I don't want you under my bonnet.
It does sound naughty now.
It does.
No, you said it. It does sound naughty.
Just going to start sweating again.
Start sweating again. Oh, dear. Anyways, Maya gets in under the bonnet, and but she... Don't spit your Mountain Dew. Say it, don't spray it.
Oh my God. That was you like waited for me to take a drink. I swear you calculated that. Oh, luckily I didn't get that much. Okay.
I can't
got under her bonnet.
But she got in there with her axe, and now even that sounds dirty. But
oh God.
Anyway, the upshot is the engine is now exposed. And is anything going to not sound dirty now?
No, it's over. It's not. We're just going to have to go through
it. Maya hacks away under the hood with her axe, and then they spray the engine down so that it's no longer sparking.
I'm really self-editing right now.
I'm so sweaty. Oh dear. At some point, Gibson radios in from the aid car and says that he needs the ring cutter because it turns out that mild-mannered Whiplash Pete is actually a drug seeker, and he's feigning injury so that he can get morphine. So he tells Jack to take the gurney he's on down to the crash victims so that gets Jack out of the way and he can turn the ambulance over and looking for drugs. And in desperation, he punches his way through a glass cabinet, gets his ring caught on a clasp or something, yanks it back, and then peels all the skin and layers of flesh on his finger back, and then his ring gets caught at the knuckle.
Yeah, that was ugly.
I actually knew someone that lost his finger that way.
Wow.
Yeah, it was an old golfing buddy of my dad's, and he was old enough to be my dad's dad. So this is like well in the days before health and safety. And he worked at some dockyards, and he was on some scaffolding and fell, and his wedding ring got caught, and then the weight of his body just like yanked it. And he,
that sounds horrendous.
Yeah.
I don't want to wear rings anymore.
Nope. This is why Maya wears a silicone ring.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, that was grim. Dean turns up at the A car and helps Jack to subdue the patient with his big manly muscles. And they then have words again because Jack tries to blame the situation on Andy grounding the aid car. But Dean says actually it's Jack's fault for leaving Peter alone. And he's not very happy at Jack's hypocrisy because he'd had a go at Dean for bending the rules, bringing JJ into the locker room. But now he's caused mayhem in his bending/breaking of the rules.
Yep.
And then it's all very chaotic, but everyone gets stabilized. 19 do an impeccable job, and then 23 turns up and basically provides a bus service to the hospital because 19 have done all the hard work.
Yep.
I didn't want to labor too much on the incident, but that was about it, wasn't it? Was there anything else big that I missed?
No, honestly, I think when we get into the peer reviews, they talk about the scene quite a bit.
Yeah.
So we'll hit it again. We'll hit it again there, but that was a good summary of it.
Yeah, cool. Andy's voiceover at the beginning of this one really annoyed me.
When do they stop those? Is it season 2 that they stop
3.
those? It's 3? Okay.
3, yeah. But I've been able to just ignore them. I've just been screening them out. But this one, for some reason, I couldn't screen out. And it annoyed the hell out of me. I was trying to listen to the dialogue of the mums pouring the champagne and whittering on about their kids. But Andy was really putting me off, and I couldn't concentrate on either.
Yeah, it was hard.
I just felt that they interfered with each other. Just pick one, but not both.
They did. They did. It was a lot going on to have a voiceover.
Yeah. And then the only issue that I had with the incident was I thought that Jack's position on how they should deal with things seemed completely out of character. Because Jack's Mr. jump in a pool of liquid nitrogen, throw your baby off a burning building, and suddenly he wants to go by the book and leave a woman trapped under a bus so that they can get a guy with possible whiplash to the hospital.
It's only when he agrees with it that it's okay. It's only when he sees the protocol that it's okay. It's hypocritical. Yeah.
Yeah, but it didn't seem like a very Jack thing to do because he is so gung-ho, and Andy even says a few times, doesn't he? Oh, he's a cowboy and he's reckless, and then suddenly he's like, no, this man's got a soft tissue injury, so we must drive him to the hospital. When there's someone literally trapped under a bus and someone literally impaled on a sign, and Jack's like, no, let's carry on to the hospital with this potential soft tissue injury. It just didn't seem very Jack-like.
Yeah, and kill all these people because they're all going to die by the time anybody gets there.
Yeah, it just seemed dumb.
Yeah, well, and we see that Travis saw that too, right? Because Travis was Team Jack all the way.
Yeah.
So.
And the other thing that troubled me was Andy said to, I think it was Mary, the leg lady, because she said that she was the glue of their friendship group, and Andy said that she's the glue at the station. Do you think at this point Andy is the glue? I don't think there's any glue at the station. They're all off in their little cliques doing their own thing. And I don't see in any way, shape, or form that Andy is the glue of anything.
I think Andy becomes the glue.
Yeah.
I think now she wants to be the glue, but has not earned it yet. She hasn't. I agree with you. She hasn't earned it yet, but
Yeah.
she
She was like,
eventually gets there.
I'm the glue of the station. I was like, no, you're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's only starting to stop being mad at you for having it away with old Jackie boy in the back room.
Yeah.
So that there is no way that you are the glue.
Right.
So, but other than that, I enjoyed it. Anything you wanted to hit on with that?
Nope.
So, shall we go to the peer reviews?
Yes.
Okay, so pre-peer review, Jack and Andy tell 19 to be honest and say, just say what's on your mind. You don't have to pick sides. Maya says emphatically that she is definitely picking sides. Her face when she says, I'm picking sides, is an absolute picture, and it might be my favourite part of the whole episode.
Yeah, it was hilarious. She's like, I don't know what are you guys talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. Along with her campaigning for Andy mid-incident, pointing out all the ways that Andy's helped Warren, saying that she's shining a light on Andy's shiny Captain Material truth and reminding Warren to shine a light on it too.
Yeah.
Maya was just funny in this episode again. She's just always funny in these early ones. Chief Ripley has taken over the peer reviews because he says that he thinks that Frankel is too biased to do it. And that's the second time he said that about Frankel. So
Yep.
we're obviously on something here. And he says that he wants to talk about the day's events to 19 and get their opinion on Jack and Andy's handling of the day and base a lot of it on that. So he starts out with Ben, and Ben tells Ripley that Herrera was making in-the-moment decisions, which was what was needed to save the lives of the victims, that she didn't really have time to think. She just needed to be, doing decisive things, basically. And we don't really hear Ben's account of the day, but Ripley says that Ben's rookie perspective was very enlightening because he didn't dance around the facts. So what he's taken from his chat with Ben is that Andy broke protocol and Jack got into a physical fight with a patient. And then Ben tries to repair the damage that he's done, saying that both Jack and Andy were very welcome to him when he started at 19. They were both patient with him, great teachers, etc. And Ripley says, well, yeah, that was their job. And then dismisses Ben. So, I mean, for me, I thought that was quite a cynical framing of Jack's actions, saying that he got into a physical altercation with a patient.
Yeah, I agree.
Bearing in mind they had to end up sedating Pete because he was a danger to himself and others.
Yeah, it wasn't a physical altercation. It was him trying to hold him back from hurting himself.
Yeah, he was trying to subdue an aggressive patient who was causing himself harm. He'd already, ripped his finger in 9. He ripped his finger nearly off. There. And it wasn't just Andy that broke protocol. When he said Andy broke protocol, Jack got in a fight. Both broke protocol because Jack delivered that gurney to the crash victims, leaving Peter alone in the aid car. So Jack's was an unnecessary break in protocol because everyone was to and fro from the AMBO anyway, getting supplies. So he could have just sent it with the next person or called over the radio, does someone want to come and get a gurney?
Yep.
So Andy's break in protocol was necessary for the preservation of life. Jack's was just stupid.
I agree with that 100%.
Anything else to say about Ben? Ben's was quite straightforward, I thought. Ben's peer review.
Yeah. They were all pretty quick too.
Yeah. But it didn't feel quick in the moment. No, it wasn't until I started writing the notes. I was like, oh, there's not as much there as it felt like there was.
Yeah.
They did an awful lot with it. Vic was the next one in. She was very Tiffany's smiling. She was very defensive. She had super defensive body language, sat there with her arms folded. She tells Ripley that he's focusing too much on the day's incident and then tells him that she outright blames him for what happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was like, you go, Vic.
I know. because she says that 19's response time is 5 minutes on a bad day, and Ripley should be pulling everyone else up to their standards. And if he can't do that, the least he can do is not give a subpar captain the keys to 19's castle. And she yells at him to flip a coin if he has to, but to pick either Jack or Andy and be done with it. And then she tries to walk it back, realizing that she might have gone a little bit too far, and tries to give him her peer review. And he says he doesn't want it because it's obvious from her attitude how she's been captained by Jack and Andy. And he says that they are done.
Yeah, that was rough.
Thoughts, feelings?
I think he read a little bit too much into Vix because the way that she portrayed her feelings to Ripley do not necessarily, to me, reflect how Andy and Jack are as captain. I didn't agree with that statement.
I think he just thought that, like, because her attitude was so bad, it showed a laissez-faire.
But I think her attitude was towards Ripley, not towards Jack and Andy. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, she has an issue with him.
Yeah, but I think that her insubordination was the problem.
Right. But it's because she doesn't respect him.
Yeah, but I think that the way that I read it was his argument was that if they had instilled some discipline and respect in her, then despite what her feelings might be about him, she would sit there and be respectful and speak to him in a respectful manner. But the fact that she felt that she had the right to go in there and shout her mouth off and say whatever she wanted shows that they haven't instilled the discipline in her that he would expect. That's how I read it. Like that they're
Well,
obviously
how long have they been joint captain?
exactly. If anything, it's Pruitt's fault, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's how I read it.
I can see what you're saying.
I kind of loved her.
Yeah, I did too.
It was super ballsy, but it was ballsy bordering on stupid.
Yeah. No, she pushes herself to the max with him,
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, standing up in that way to your boss's boss's boss, as he puts it, is a special brand of ballsy. But I thought as well that the sparks were flying right away between them. The way that he was looking at her.
Yeah, I think it's funny because even though he calls her, well, in the finale, he calls her out on the way she speaks to him. I think he already at this point has been like, I like her.
Yeah, I think that he respected her personally, if not professionally.
Yes.
And I think
agree.
he liked that she's not just a sycophant.
Yeah.
Just like a yes man. I think he liked that about her. But yeah, I thought there was a little bit of sparking between them, even though they were yelling at each other. I thought there was a bit of sexual tension going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Travis.
Yep, he was my favorite one.
Yeah, there was a lot in that one. He focused on safety and leadership mostly, saying that he lost his husband to a captain who wasn't sure and miscalculated. And as such, he knows better than to recommend a captain who isn't sure and might miscalculate. And he breaks down saying that he blames the inexperienced captain for Michael's death. And we know he told Andy previously that he felt that she lacked the necessary experience. So it seems as though he's queuing up to recommend Jack. But then he says that when he filled in for the day, he realised that actually being captain isn't all about experience. And he said that Andy made the right call without blinking and that Jack just couldn't see it. And so whilst Jack is excellent, he says that Andy thinks like a captain.
I loved that scene. I loved Travis's description of Andy at the incident. I think it was spot on. And I loved that Travis was mature enough to be like, hey, you know what? Jack isn't as good as I thought he was. And to voice him to Ripley, I loved that whole scene. I loved Travis and I just thought it was great.
Yeah. I liked that it opened with Ripley showing so much compassion as well, wanting to take the time to speak to Travis about his husband.
Yeah.
Even though Travis kind of shut him down and said, I don't want to talk about it. I think it goes to the measure of the man, that's where he wanted to start things.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Can't see Frankel.
Yeah, like, hey, how you doing with your dead husband?
Yeah, I just don't think it's in Frankel's nature.
Yeah,
So
for
it
sure.
shows the kind of man that Ripley is, I think. And Jay Hayden, I thought he was superb.
He was. Totally loved Jay Hayden in that scene. Yeah.
I loved his kind of quiet contemplation and the way that he played with his wedding ring the whole way through. Just those little nuanced bits. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that was my favourite as well. I thought it was superb. Maya, actually, this one was really good as well.
Yeah.
This one was excellent. She starts out in full cheerleader mode, saying that Andy recognizes people's talents and puts them where they best fit, and that she demonstrated that in her decision to put Jack on the aid car. And Maya has a little jab at Ripley, saying that he might be towing the patriarchal line. She says that men in power always give each other the benefit of the doubt when he suggests that Andy maybe put Jack in an impossible position rather than putting him where he best fit. So I appreciated that in Maya as well. But Maya argues that Andy put Jack where she did because she knew that he could handle anything that came up. And Ripley argues back that actually Jack rose to the occasion when he was forced to overcome a problem that Andy caused in breaking protocol. And then he sort of leaves Maya nowhere to go other than to agree with his assessment of the situation.
Yeah.
And she then calls Jack the obvious choice. And Ripley says, well, you don't like him much, do you? And she says, oh, I like him fine. And then she reels off some of his qualities in a way that I think is supposed to sound like a slight. I don't think it was supposed to be complimentary. I think it
Yeah.
was supposed to
Yeah.
be, I think she was trying to make him sound kind of impulsive. But she finishes off with, that's just who he is. And Ripley says, oh, like a captain.
Yeah.
And again leaves her absolutely nowhere to go. But then he finishes off by telling her that she's like a captain too, and that he expects her to throw a hat in the ring if a lieutenant spot opens up. And she looks completely stunned by this.
It's true though.
Yeah. Did you have anything to say about Maya and her little bit?
Nope.
No,
Nope.
me neither, really. I just thought that it was really well written, especially Ripley's part, where
Yeah.
he did manage to kind of turn her around and she thought she was slighting Jack and actually she was bigging him up because it all just depends on your framing of it.
Yeah.
When he flipped it around on her and said, well, that's like a captain, she was like, oh, damn. He didn't even know where to go. Dean, should we go with Dean?
Sure.
So we learned that Dean and Jack were at the academy together. We've been saying all along, haven't we, that it seems like Dean and Travis are like the little twosome.
Yeah.
But obviously, this is a way to edge us off that quickly without having to do much in the writing to change our view. You just say, oh no, we went to school together. And then that kind of fixes it, doesn't it? Then it's easy just
Yeah.
to flip someone over. So Ripley then says, well, if that's the case, there's no need to twirl him around the dance floor. And he skips straight to asking Dean why Jack should be captain. And Dean says he's a quick thinker. He's usually 10 steps ahead of everyone else. And being on Jack's team feels like being on the winning team. And not only that, he's such a team player that the change when he was promoted to lieutenant was virtually imperceptible. However, Ripley has one last killer question, which is who does Dean think was right on the call? And Dean looks nervous as hell, takes a big swig of water and asks Ripley to repeat the question. Then he tries to avoid answering it altogether by saying that Jack would make a great captain, but Ripley pushes. And Dean then has to admit that he thought Andy's call was the right one.
Yep. I appreciated that too. Because
Yeah,
it was who you thought was going to say Jack ended up seeing Andy for the qualities that she has. So I appreciated that one too.
it just shows all their professionalism as well, that they're not just
Mhm.
going to, go down strict party lines, as it were.
Yeah.
But I also don't think that Dean was being honest when he said that Jack's promotion was imperceptible. I think he thinks that it's one rule for Jack and one rule for everyone else.
Yeah. I agree.
The look on his face to me said that he didn't believe it as he was saying it.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about Dean?
Nope.
So then Pruitt is the last one. So they all have a debrief in the beanery about how it went. They all agree that they basically don't care who it is out of Jack and Andy as long as it's one of them. And then we head to the hospital where Ripley's taking account of Pruitt's peer review. And Pruitt says that he has a vested interest in who his successor is. He calls 19 his legacy, and he says he wants what's best for the team. And then throws a spanner in the works, saying that on that basis, he recommends neither Jack nor Andy for the position. So, dun dun dun, title up, roll credits.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's it. So, what did you think about Pruitt not recommending Jack or Andy?
I actually think it was a kind of selfish statement, um, because I think in different ways they have both shown that they're ready. I just think Pruitt is old school and doesn't want to see the new school come in. And so he wants somebody who's old school like him.
Mm.
And so I don't think he gave it an unbiased opinion.
No, maybe not. Maybe not.
And so
Yeah,
I didn't think it was a fair opinion. I think he had way too much bias because he has so much vested into it, which he made clear.
yeah,
And so he wants, but I think 19 is ready for new school. I think that's where it wants to go. It wants to be progressive. And he doesn't want to see that happen. He wants it to stay the way he wants it. Because like you saw when he came in a couple episodes ago working reception and he saw Dean go down the pole, the
yeah,
first thing he did was roll his eyes like, why is he going down the pole, right? Like
yeah.
he doesn't like this new way it's going. He wants it to go backwards. And so he knows Jack and Andy won't, they can't do that. They won't be that way.
I wonder if it was more because neither of them have shown like they can. There's a little bit too much infighting, and it is quite clicky. There's Team Jack and Team Andy,
Yeah.
and there's no unity, and they're both a little bit childish, and they're still aggy with each other because of what happened between them romantically. And there does seem to be quite a bit of like one-upmanship between them. And so I wonder if he's worried that it'll all fall apart because they're not pulling together. And if Jack was made captain, then Maya, Vic, and Andy would not toe the line and would be, because that's like the girl squad and they thought Andy should get it. And if Andy got it, that the boys would say, oh, Jack was the right one for the job because he had seniority. And so, and you know what happened on the roof? Where Travis was saying, no, we should do Jack's thing. And they wasted all that time arguing over what they should do. And
Yeah.
they sort of undermined Andy's authority by wanting to go with Jack. I wonder if all of that's playing into it for Pruitt. And he's like, do you know what? Neither of them at this point. It's not what's best for the station. So I wonder if, and I also think part of it could be that he was cross with them because they were sleeping together behind his back.
Yeah. I don't think he gave an unbiased opinion.
No, I think that played into it, but I do wonder if he actually had a good point as well, though,
Possibly.
because neither of them have covered themselves in glory. They can both do the practicalities of the job, but having the respect of the team, being respectful of each other, respecting the uniform, I wonder if that's where they fall down in his eyes.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. But for me, I think that's the episode. Have I missed anything?
No, and you did it with 5 minutes to spare.
Ding, ding, ding. I'm awesome. So we've just got time to do our indie bits. So I
Yep.
thought it was really well written. As I say, the only niggle for me was Jack seemed like a bit of a prefect instead of a cowboy on the call. Otherwise, brilliant.
Yeah.
Loved all the dialogue. There wasn't anything clumsy or overdone. Thought the messed up timeline and the lack of chronology and the interchange between the peer reviews and the incident made it feel really fast paced and exciting. And the episode for me felt shorter than a lot of episodes, which is always a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And when it just flies by.
Yeah. So the not being linear thing I thought really worked well for it. But I didn't think it lends itself to having any themes, this one. I don't know about you.
No, I didn't really get it was too much of a it was too boom 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 boom.
Yes,
You know
absolutely.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. It's funny because we're both ahead. We know what happened. But at the
Yeah,
end of this one, what were you looking forward to finding out in the next episodes or the episodes to come initially? Can you remember?
just seeing who they pick as captain, which I already know. But
Yeah.
if this would have been the first time, that would have been what I was anxiously waiting for.
Yeah. Similarly, for me, I still want to know how the decision is made that neither of them are captain, because I
Right,
still can't remember how or why neither of them are chosen. And I would like to hear Pruitt's reasoning for not recommending them. I mean, I can
right.
guess, and I gave what I think his reasons are, but I'm interested to hear if he justifies that as well.
Yep.
Who did you think had best growth? Did you think anybody had any growth in this one?
I think Travis did that he was able to see um Andy as being better for captain because he was kind of pro Jack, anti Andy all the way up to this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it took a lot of maturity for him to see that.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. I just thought that rather than growth, like Ripley just gave a few people reality checks.
Yeah, yeah.
Best scene for you?
Honestly, probably the whole main part of the incident, just seeing Andy rock it.
Yeah. And I liked all the Ripley stuff, all the conversational
Yeah,
Jedi Ripley stuff. That was all the best
yeah.
stuff for me. Did you have a favourite line or piece of dialogue?
That's tough. I can't think of one off the top of my head. It was probably something Maya said because she was funny in this episode, but I
She was
can't think
very
of one off
funny.
the top of my head.
Yeah, I went with the exchange in the beanery between Jack and Maya. I'm sticking with what I said at the beginning of the episode. So when
Oh, yeah.
when Maya said I ended up saying things like Gibson's good, that doesn't even sound like me, no offense. And Jack says
Yeah.
some taken.
Yeah, that was funny.
I liked that. And did you have a most gifable moment?
Probably when the guy, I'm laughing because it was actually funny. When Jack comes around the corner and the aid car is a mess, and he's like, "Oh, you weren't supposed to see this. I was gonna have it cleaned up." I could see a GIF being like, "You weren't supposed to see this."
That's a
Something
good
like that.
one. That's a good
Yeah.
one. I was really unoriginal because I know there is already a gif of this, but I liked Maya with the axe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So I think that is that. So next we have 109 Hotbox. And it says a simple call becomes life threatening when part of the team is trapped in a garage or garage on your side of the pond. And I'm excited for this one because if you had asked me before this rewatch to give you an outline of some of the season one episodes, the only one that I could have remembered and told you about was this episode.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. And I watched it recently, so it's fresh in my mind.
Yeah. So, yeah, exciting times. And we're nearly at the end of season one.
We are almost ready for our finale.
Yeah, smashing through it. Right. Shall we go and get on with our lives?
Yeah. It was good to talk to you.
It was lovely to see your face and talk to you. I'm going to go and flip my hair some more.
Yeah, you just did it again. Okay.
All right, see you later,
Bye-bye.
mate. Bye.